straight on to business. Last week we spoke about the Evoque, and we got your inquiries, we got your letters, we got your complaints. But you know the way it is when you just say something. When I mentioned last week that it could be 50-50 and we just need to hang on 51-49 to kick off, I was just saying I did not know we are going to get to that equilibrium. As at now we are standing on 50-50, and I'm just waiting for about 5 more requests, because I got a request this afternoon, and of course I did not tell the administrators that. Remember I told you, yes, the Range Rover Doctor is run with passion, but it's also we need money from the background to run, so it's also an ongoing concern. It's an organization, and I have organs to report to as well. It's my passion, it's their investment. So we got another letter, an email this afternoon, and that was actually taking our scale to the negative part. So we need about 3 or 4 requests or inquiries that says, yes please, I need support for my Evoque. I'm in Lagos. Yes, we had a lot of requests outside Lagos, and I pushed that forward, and no, that did not fly. We can only give you support outside Lagos. We can give you technical support via proxy, and we cannot, for now, we can't push out our technicians outside Lagos for the Evoque. So that's where we stand. We need more letters, we need more inquiries from you, from 4 or 5 more Evoque owners, certified owners, and then we'll be able to push for the return of the Evoque to the Range Rover Doctor stable. But now we move ahead with our next presentation. So this presentation is going to run for 10 weeks, and funny enough, it's another presentation that we ran way back in 2020, 2019, and it has to do with this car. So one of my directors came in for a meeting and went through all our requests, and we found out that so many people, so this has been 2020, 2025, it's been 5 years, we've still had the same request for this car. So when I say this is the most desirable Range Rover ever, I'm not joking, it is. So we still have a lot of requests coming in for the L405. There are people that own it that want to keep their L405 on the road. Yes, there are a few people that actually, with the stories, they are not happy with the L405, and we have a lot of people that want to own the L405 and are just worried about what comes next, maintenance and everything. So for all the groups we mentioned, we're back to presenting the L405, everything you need to know, what you need to be prepared for, and what you need to do. The L405 again is the Range Rover that replaces the boxy one we know, the L322. That's what everybody knows as the Range Rover from 2013 to 2022. And isn't it a sleek vehicle? It still represents, as how many years? It still represents 100%, as in, it's a wonderful car, and there are people still out there that want to own these cars. There are owners that want to keep the cars on the road because they just love the car. So we've slotted out a 10-week presentation starting from today for the L405. So today we're going to talk about the quick guide of the L405. Next week we'll be talking about the different types and the best to buy for the models, because they had a lot of iterations of the L405. And we're going to be talking about the cost of buying in on the average, the cost right now in the market. There's been a lot of price fluctuations, and you need to know what to expect to pay. Next week, the week after, that's week 4, we're talking about cost of running them. Week 5, we talk about the common faults. Week 6, are they problematic to run? We'll talk about the durability. Week 7, why should I buy an L405 in 2025? Week 8, are they good for African roads? We're talking about the terrain and everything. Week 9, what to worry about, and when you're inspecting, what to worry about, what to check. Then week 10, we'll round up with the Range Rover Doctor approach to the L405. So We'll let you know what we can offer you as a prospective L405 owner, as a current L405 owner, as a disgruntled and unhappy L405 owner. We'll talk about everything L405. So let's kick off. So we're talking about the L405 now, which is the quick guide. Like I mentioned before, the L405 was made between 2013 to 2022. It replaces the older Range Rover, and for the first time, Land Rover went all aluminium on this vehicle. So the vehicle is mostly aluminium, and it has subframes supporting the front and rear. So let me not go into engineering jargon so everybody understands what I'm saying. So you know, when you have a car, you have the cars that are like trucks, you know, like those frames on that. When you see those trucks like trailers, then you have your regular cars. So those are like two kind of chassis. Okay, I wouldn't go deep, right? Good. So the L405 comes with a car kind of chassis, right? But it's mounted on subframes on the front and the rear. It's made of aluminum. That makes it very, very tough, and also helps the performance as a regular car. So with this car on the road gives you that, almost gives you that sedan performance, even with the higher center of gravity, right? And of course, it comes with different driving dynamics. There's the air suspension that lowers, and also the ARC that helps you going when you're through corners. And I would like to tell you here that this car, when they were developing it, then they had already sold Land Rover to Tata. Ratan Tata himself made more than 30 to 35 changes to this vehicle itself because they couldn't get it wrong. So if you're driving it, you're not only driving an icon, you're driving a masterpiece. It is a wonderful car. I drive these cars every day. There's no day that will go by, a regular day that I won't drive more than 4 or 5 test driving them, and I still have that desire to set up mine. You understand what it is? That means that you are eating eba, or you're drinking, you're eating beans every day, and you're doing that for how many years? 12, 15 years, thereabout, and you still desire that thing. So I know a lot of people go like, oh, you're the Range Rover doctor. Why won't you say, why won't you support it? Why won't you? It's what I do every day, and I love it, and I'm still loving it, and I can't wait to finish setting up my own L405. So I'll talk about the driving position first. Let me start. The driving position of this car does not feel like a truck at all. It doesn't feel like a truck. Most SUVs, because they're built to actually act like trucks, they're built to go through rough terrains, they're built to, so when you sit on it, even, I won't mention the brand, a very, very new brand, new model of an old reliable brand we all know. When you drive the car, yes, it feels they tried a little bit, especially with their luxury brand, but you can still feel that waft, that body roll when you're on the tarmac. But on rough road, yes, they try to make the suspension a little bit soggy so you don't feel all the bumps and everything. But you see, the Land Rover is a perfect balance, a perfect harmony. I always say the Land Rover luxury, let's say the Range Rover, is one of the only cars you can take to the farm and you're fully confident, and you take it to a red carpet show and you still come out blazing. Okay, so that's it for the feel, right? Then we'll talk about the engines, and later we'll talk about when we get to the different types to buy. Next, we go to maintenance, which we will really deep in this whole, this is the reason for this whole presentation. But I'll just briefly mention maintenance here, because I know a lot of people out there, when I go like, oh, the Range Rover, it's always on the tow truck. That's the common one. So I ask, of the statistics out there that says the Range Rover is always on the tow truck, how many of you have actually owned the Range Rover? Then we'll go to the next one. If you own the Range Rover and you actually feel like, oh, it's always on a tow truck, look at your maintenance. look at the age of your Range Rover, right? Only this morning, let me digress a little bit from the L405 and just talk about another car. Only this morning, I pointed out I had the LR3 2005 parked next to this brand I'm talking about, top, very reliable brand, right? And the luxury version of that car, they were parked side by side, 2005, and that car looked like it has lost all its life. But the LR3 was still standing gallant. So it goes back to when we say reliability and durability, they are different things. So they are very different, right? So we'll get back to that later. So the guide, let's get back to our guide, our L405 guide. It's, first of all, let's go now to the sitting position. We're done with the sitting position. We're talking about the that's supposed to be my timeout. So let me breeze through this. So sitting position. I've talked about driver's sitting position. For all the passengers, it's luxury. You have the versions. We'll go to the versions that have different kind of seats. I don't want to talk about that now because of time. Then the rear, one of the most beautiful things again that got carried over to this car is we call it the social bench. You know, it splits into two. The lower tailgate allows for easy loading, but also acts as a social bench, which means 3 grown adults can sit on it. So for your recreational activity, it just acts as a cocoon. It acts as a moving comfortable means of transportation and a mini house. So all that was thought about in the creation of the L405. Like I mentioned earlier, Ratan Tata took a lot of time in the development of this. So we can actually look at this vehicle on the level of all the luxury mark. We're talking about Rolls Royce, Bentley, and what have you, right? Yes, some people will go like, we have some other brands that have luxury marks as well. Okay, so let me go to those vehicles right now. We have Porsche, we have Mercedes-Benz, and of course we have BMW. So if you look at the prices of these cars, right, we're looking at cars that are about the same range. We can't bring in the very luxury range in here because they are both. Yes, so those cars actually have the same price value, and of course in most cases we all watch Car Wow here and watch the drag race. Some people go like, oh, it seems to be the slowest, but when you're making an SUV, it's the primary thing, speed. It holds its own. So in all these brands I'm talking about, you're only talking about the performance. You're looking about the MCM. You're talking about the turbos of the Porsche, right? And all that. Yes, they are faster, but then again, how many of those fast cars can keep up with this car if we decide to go off-road? Do you understand? Let's get off the road. Let's go off-roading. How many of them will keep up? But it keeps up with them, right? So now let's look at our other reliable brands, right? Lexus, Toyota, Mitsubishi, the Nissan Armada, the QX, and all that. How many of those cars can keep up with those other performance cars I was talking about? None. So the Range Rover is a perfect balance for that individual that wants it all. And yes, it has to come with a price. The maintenance is very delicate. It's not high, it's delicate. So you need to know what you're doing, you need to know what you're replacing, you need to know what you're paying for, right? And on the average, really, so the prices are not that bad. Yes, in my region right now, because the exchange rate, everything is quoted in dollars and pounds. It's crazy if you want to know. But on the average, at par with every other luxury performance brand, it's not that bad, right? And then again, it's the total reward and the feel of pulling up in a Range Rover. I told someone this, and I actually posted it in our last edition of our L405's Reliable. As long as it is a Range Rover, it has that Range Rover badge and is in pristine condition, you can pull up anywhere and you look cool and all that. As it will not feel strange, it will not feel inferior, it will not feel outclassed with those cars. I can pull up with a clean 1974 Range Rover and I would park it wherever. Okay? That can be said for all brands, not all the brands. You agree with me? Not all the brands. Yes, some, but not all. So that is Range Rover. It has a wonderful and beautiful heritage, right? Yes, it has its own niggles, but the reward is it's out of this world. Okay, so when you're deciding that you want an L405, first of all, you have to know that you're not just buying it to show off. You're buying it because you love this car. You want to feel good for you. That is the first step. If that is right, then you're ready to get the L405. Because with that, you know that it comes with a maintenance culture. This is what needs to be done. This is what needs to be done. There are no cutting costs at all. There's no magic. There's no high school boy, I go to the scrapyard and I find a killer and I fix it, and I'm driving a luxury car for a quarter of the price. No, don't expect that. It's not going to happen. It is not going to happen. Right, so you're ready for your L405. That's the guide. We're going to post this video on YouTube, on Instagram, so you can actually go through it at your own time with more information that I don't have the time to specify here for the guide. So we'll have the full video coming up on YouTube. We'll be dropping on Sunday, this Sunday. That's part 1 of 10 of your guide to L405. That's it this afternoon. Sorry, all your questions and answers and inquiries will be answered directly because we have to push this slot today. We don't have any more time. I'm actually way over time. That's it, 50 Fridays, Range Rover Doctor. I take you back to DJ